G'day guys, welcome to another episode of League Chat with the Stat. Thank you for joining me on another episode this week, brought to you by Latitude Accountants. Now, I know the boys at Latitude Accountants, and when you meet these boys, you know that they were just born to be accountants. They're big Bulldog supporters and massive Parramatta supporters as well, and they'll be able to help you with all your accounting needs and any questions you have in regards to your accounting. So if you guys need a new accountant, don't be afraid to call Mick or Pat on 02 9890 9040, and we'll drop all the details down on our YouTube description there. Guys, appreciate you joining me on another week of League Chat with the Stat. Now, guys, what a crazy week of finals we just had last week. You know, round one done and dusted in the bank. Let's get straight into it. Storm 40 defeated the Seagulls 12, and it was just a clinical performance from the Storm. Now, to me, this isn't really anything new. If I could be 100% honest with you guys, taking a look here just at how Storm perform when it comes to the finals, it's at a different level and a different tier to how they perform when it comes in the regular season. Now, if you look at the regular season, obviously they went and won 19 straight and they dominated the whole year, but Storm just need to flick a switch and then they just go up another level when it comes to the finals. Now, they actually dismantled the Sea Eagles side who were really sloppy on Friday night. They were very poor. They made too many errors. Look, it can come down to a lot of inexperience. You know, Morgan Harper's first finals campaign, Hamalio Lakuatu's first finals game as well. So there was a lot of areas where they were really inexperienced, but it just seemed as if Seagulls just shut down and the Storm just ran away with the game. You know, Pappenhausen came back, you know, starting to get into some crazy form, scoring another double on the weekend. He's just building up his performances week by week and he's getting so much better. But if you take a look as well, you got to consider that every time Tom Trbojevic got the ball for Manly, he was surrounded by 2 or 3 players. This is very, very standard when it comes to the Melbourne Storm. I remember in 2012, in the year that Ben Barber dominated for the Bulldogs, then when it came to the grand final, the Storm just studied on Ben Barber. They did everything they could to figure out how they can stop Ben Barber and exactly what they needed to do to stop him. And when it came to that grand final, Ben Barber was so limited in everything he did because every time he had that ball, the Storm had 2 or 3 men on him and applied so much pressure on him that he wasn't able to do anything. Same thing here. Tom Trbojevic has been on fire all season, but every time he came to touch the ball or get involved in the play, the Storm was surrounding him with 2 to 3 men every single time. He finished the game with 1 tackle break. Compared to all the stats that we've seen in other games, it was just crazy to even think that Tom Trbojevic finished on a very, very quiet game and only finished on 1 tackle break. They limited him so well, and this is something that I've been saying that the Storm do so well, and they do it all the time. It's just phenomenal. But at the end of the day, Manly were outperformed. That's it. They just got completely outperformed by Storm. Storm take it up another gear. Sea Eagles need to find that gear if they want to stay alive in this finals campaign. The Roosters 25 defeated the Titans 24, and this game was insane in every sense of the word. Some of the most unexpected tries as well, and different plays. You know, when Mate Ikuvalu knocked the ball in front of the line and Jared Wallace ran and planted the ball, probably one of the easiest tries you ever see. But there was just a couple moments in that game, probably in the last 10 minutes, that were just nuts. But prior to that, though, you got to consider that James Tedesco performed brilliantly, like he always does. He steps it up when he needs to. He just performs at such a great level week in, week out. And he doesn't overplay his hand. He doesn't commit way too much into some of the plays. He just gets it done. And he just knows when to be at certain times or where to be there. And he's just a freak of nature when it comes to that stuff. It's been phenomenal to just see him build this year, especially with having a lot of players missing. Leading from the front, JWH, Siosiwa Takiaho are playing some brilliant football as well. And for the Titans, I just didn't feel that it was inexperienced, but I just felt that there was just different plays that cost them. But I want to get on to just talking about one kid, Sam Walker, who every time he comes onto the field, he does something phenomenal. And what a year he's had, and he's up there with Reece Walsh as Rookie of the Year. Got to be. I just think what Sam Walker has been able to achieve in such a short time has been exceptional. He comes on the field with about 10 to 15 minutes to go. He slots a field goal in to take the lead. On the other end of the field, where the Titans start marching up, he misses a tackle on Bo Firma that causes a line break. He commits the whole way down to get him back down again. And then Titans fumbled that last play, which ended up costing them the game. But the problem I had with the field goal was in that play, there were 2 blockers standing next to the guy playing the ball. So whoever was at marker wasn't able to go and try to reach walk and apply any pressure because they had to get through the two men that were there. I think it was JWH and I believe it was Crichton or someone else. You can't do that. This isn't NFL. I don't understand where they came up with this thing of trying to use blockers to protect their halves. This is never, ever something I've ever come across. I've only noticed in the last couple of weeks where they just set blockers there. So that's the problem I have. The bunker have gone up for every try, and sometimes we watch about 6 to 7 replays, if not more, to see if a try has been confirmed. Then we don't get any info on it. Then we find out later that, it's confirmed, and then they review it and review it and review it. But when it comes to field goals, they just let it go. The two blockers were there. Sam Walker shouldn't have had the opportunity as easy as it was to kick that field goal. That part cost the Titans. Then the final play. When I saw the final play, I was just lost for words. I just couldn't believe it. It's a 3-on-1 situation. Patrick Herbert has Dave Fafita and Corey Thompson on his right-hand side. All he's got to do in a 3-on-1 is pass the ball to any of them, and they score. Herbert commits to it himself, takes it up himself, and offloads the ball to no one. Cops abuse from Corey Thompson, which, for the record, I completely understand. I can't believe that the internet was so divided on whether it was the right thing to do or he shouldn't have done it because, it's not good. You're in the finals. You have 3 seconds left of the game that is riding on your season. All you have to do is pass the ball, and you don't pass the ball. Mate, I could definitely say that if I was that winger as well, I'd probably be doing the same thing. 3-on-1 situation. Surely, when you think of 3-on-1, you automatically pass. You can't be that much of a hog to not pass. So Corey Thompson loses it on the field. Everyone of the Titans just puts their head down. Of course, it was a shattering moment. Roosters really shouldn't have won that game. That should have been all for the Titans. But it was those 2 plays, one missed by the ref in the bunker, and the other one that was just there for the taking, just wasn't taken by the Titans. And that's unfortunately ended their season. It's tough for rugby league sometimes. Honestly, it's so tough. But look, the Roosters hold on. They find grit. I don't know where they get it from. I don't know how they're doing it. Trent Robinson is just a freak of nature. But they're getting the wins. They're just doing their little bits and pieces where they can. And then they're just trying to build on what's been a disastrous season for themselves, that they just find a way to keep winning and to not make any excuses. Mate, the Roosters, they're quite the side, I'll tell you that. Rabbitohs 16 to the Panthers 10. I didn't see this coming, if I'm going to be 100% real. Didn't see it coming. It was exceptional from the Bunnies, especially defensively. The last time they versed the Panthers, they got put 50 on them. They've turned it around. They started averaging 40 points a game. They started averaging less points conceded. And just their defense on Saturday night was just at another level. The Rabbitohs were performing out of this skin defensively. For the Panthers, they just had no answers for the defense. Wayne Bennett, I'm telling you, he has more tricks up his sleeve week in, week out. He's come finals. He knows that his team needs to find another gear. And we're talking about Panthers, he were grand finals last year. And Bennett just flicked the switch on him and got exactly what he needed to get from him. They all turned up in attack, in defense. I thought at fullback, Blake Taffy was absolutely exceptional. He fumbled the first ball that Cleary put up as a bomb, and the rest he took, and he handled it really comfortably. Obviously, you'd rather Latrell there, but for what Blake Taffy is doing, he's doing fantastic. And this is the second rookie fullback to come in. You got to remember, Jaden Campbell came in for the Titans at fullback, and he played like 6 games. He played very good for them in that game, by the way. But Blake Taffy, I thought he was just very good, very solid. Taking tips from Reynolds, taking tips from Latrell on where to be at certain plays and how to defend in certain areas. Very good. But the Panthers just had no answers. They tried to attack and attack and attack. They kept going down To'o's side, Brian To'o's side, but then the defense would just rally through and then just stop him. Mate, unbelievable, especially that last 15 minutes. It's crazy. But the real battle here is between Wayne Bennett and Ivan Cleary. For those that missed it, Ivan Cleary came out during the week and kept saying that the Rabbitohs, started accusing the Rabbitohs of of applying too much pressure on Nathan Cleary. That after he kicks the ball, they go in and make a hit on the players, especially on Nathan Cleary. Bennett came back and said, "Mate, you're the one setting up blockers like this is the NFL." So them two go at it in the press conference. Ivan starts calling out Bennett. Bennett starts saying, like, responding to things that Ivan was saying. But in that battle, Bennett won again. He just won. He just knows that he's been in the game for 30 plus years, that he knows that at any point, if anyone comes at him with anything, he can respond and absolutely hammer the opposition. And Ivan Cleary showed a little bit of weakness. Coming out and attacking Bennett after the game, very poor form from Cleary. But look, he's messing with the best. You don't mess with the best. Wayne Bennett has been around, has done it all, has been involved in so many things where he's always come out on top. And he just showed it again. Now Rabbitohs get a week off to kind of relax, chill out, look at the opposition. They're just one more win there in the grand final, which is huge for them. If they want to send out Bennett and Reynolds on a high, this would be the perfect time to do it. And it's the only time to do it because they're both even at the end of the season. Bennett needs to get Rabbitohs to flick to another gear because they've missed out on they've been in the last 3 preliminaries and have missed out that extra win they needed to get to the grand final. But this is the best chance. And probably the only chance they can do it with those two in the side. Eagles 28 defeated the Knights 20. And look, I feel as if the Eagles really scraped by to get to this win. And I say that because it wasn't a dominant performance. You know, they had all troops back on deck. Even RCG came back as well. And I just thought that what we saw a couple of weeks ago against the Storm was not here. A lot of errors, a lot of uncharacteristic errors there. Defense wasn't great as well. I mean, Parramatta started the game so poorly. Clint Gutherson kicked the ball out on the full, then conceded that first try. Sometimes I don't understand why Gutherson will jump in the line to defend like he's not a fullback, like he's a centre. In that first try, when the ball went out to Inari Tuala, you see Gutherson chasing him, going out of the line to having to chase him to even try to get near him, but he's too slow. He's way too slow. I thought that for the Parramatta Eagles, I did think that Mitch Moses played a much better game. It was fantastic. You know, he caught the Knights snapping with 5 minutes to go, and then he really turned that side around in that last 5 minutes. They went put on 2 tries. They were up 16-10. The game was gone from there. Now, the Knights, I didn't think they were terrible. They weren't at their best, absolutely not. But when they had the ball, they showed what they could do. But that 5 minutes in that end of the first half, one where Moses just hit the accelerator and then got through, and then Clemmer's lazy attempt at defense, which is a lot better than that. That was the start of it, and then the second try that they conceded, where they let Eels run the whole way through it to have Penasini that magical flick ball to Blake Ferguson, off the charts. But that was the writing on the wall for the Knights. Ponga came in, tried to do a bit of his flair, tried to make what he could of it, set up 2 or 3 tries, or for Tuala. And I just looked at the way the Knights played, and they just need more time together. They've showed that with more time together, they can excel, and they can be a superb side, and they can take it to any team in the comp. The penalty try at the end. Look, I don't think it should have been a penalty try, if I'm completely honest. I actually thought Gutherson did drop the ball when he went to kick it. But either way, Eagles were up by 8 or by 2 points at that time. So it wasn't like there was much of a chance there anyway. It's really hard to say. Obviously, you don't rule out anything. But if they had that try taken from them, Eagles are up 22-20. I just thought Gutherson may have dropped that ball before he kicked it. That's just my opinion on it. That's how I looked at it. But look, the Knights, that last 5 minutes of the first half really ended their season there. It just dropped their season there. And we're talking about Ponga, and that cutout ball he made to Tuala for his third try, unbelievable. That's one of the best cutout balls I have seen in a very long time. So look, the Knights will be better for it next year, hopefully. They should have all their players on deck. You know, Peace should get more game time. Ponga should get more game time. Clifford will get more game time being around the system. And hopefully it builds to something better. Hopefully it can build to something where they can actually make an impact in the finals and throughout the whole season, instead of missing those key members in those positions. So that's the writing on the wall for the Knights. They're done for 2021 alongside the Titans there. All right, and news around the NRL world. A lot to get through here, guys. So much has happened in the last week. Josh Dugan has been sacked by the Sharks due to his second breach of the COVID restrictions, and he's announced his immediate retirement. Now, he copped like $50,000 fine and then had $25,000 suspended. Now it's been added on, so it's $75,000. So he's trying to now come up with the funds to kind of get that money paid. Cooper Johns has re-signed with the Storm for the 2022 season. Bulldogs have sacked Adam Elliott. He's already been courted by Raiders, Warriors, and Tigers. Bulldogs have sacked him due to his another off-field indiscretion he had in the Gold Coast. Craig Bellamy's coaching staff have all re-signed till 2023. That's Mark Brentnall, Stephen Kearney, Aaron Bellamy, his son, and Ryan Hinchcliffe are all staying as part of the coaching staff to the end of the 2023 season. The Storm preliminary final has been moved to Saturday next week at 4 p.m. to avoid the clash with the grand final, with the AFL grand final. So they're trying to obviously ensure that no one's missing any of the action there. So the NRL have made the cautious decision to move the preliminary final to Saturday 4 p.m. Now, Parramatta Eels are being sued for $1 million due to unpaid invoices and interest from a third-party company called Black Citrus that was involved as a third-party company around the time that Parramatta were getting done by the salary cap, which was 2016. So they've had a bit of an involvement there and are now suing Parramatta for $1 million worth of unpaid invoices and on top of that interest. So stay tuned on that one and just to see what happens there. The Cowboys have promoted 3 players into the developmental squad. Morgan McRider, who's a prop, Jordan Lip, who is a fullback and halfback, and Tyrese Woods, who can play fullback and centre, have all been promoted to a developmental contract. And the 2 players that were on a developmental contract and have been promoted to the top squad, the forward Jeremiah Nanai and Latai Mossy Drake, have all been moved to the top 30 squad as well. Like I mentioned last week, the Broncos were keen on Tyrone Peachy coming into the club. Now the Raiders are looking at him as a utility option, someone that can play 5'8", can play lock, can play centres. On his day, Peachy is a very good player. So the Raiders are now looking at inquiring someone like Peachy to come in and change up their side a little bit and give him some flair off the bench. Tom Flegler and Jordan Riki were involved in a little wrestle on Mad Monday at their celebrations. It's a wrestle that kind of went out of hand, and Jordan Riki needed to get some stitches. But all is good. There is nothing there that they're really to freak out about or stress about. Them two are all good. They released a statement. Everything's fine, and they're just looking to have a bit of a break and then head into season 2022 a lot more focused and ready to go. The Titans have announced the farewell of the following players. So Ash Taylor, who is unsigned, Mitch Rain, who's unsigned, Joel Whitbread and Sam Stone already left mid-season to the Centurions. Tyrone Peachy is also unsigned, and Jonas Pearson, who left early in the year due to family reasons, have all been released by the Titans. The Dragons have farewelled the following 10 players as well. Ken McInnes to the Sharks, Matt Duffy to the Bulldogs, Corey Norman released and is getting interest from Super League clubs, but nothing signed as of yet. Adam Clune from the Knights, Jordan Pereira to the Broncos, Cater Ellis going to Wigan in Super League on a 3-year deal. Brady Williami heading to Perpignan in France, a rugby union there in France for 3 years. And the other 3, Gerard Bill, Billy Britton and Hayden Lomax, all released without a contract there. So that's a third of the squad that Dragons have released, but they're looking to continue to build for the seasons to come and hopefully have be a genuine force with the juniors that they've got coming through and with the experience that they're bringing into the side as well. Lachlan Lewis has been sacked from the Bulldogs. Even though he was not being offered a contract for next year, the Bulldogs have sacked him for the last few months of his pay. So he will not be paid for the next few months. He's been sacked. He's been courted by a few Super League clubs, but he's trying to find the gig in the NRL, which is looking slim to none at this point. On the Bulldogs, though, they have signed John Asiata for the 2022 season. After complications with the contract due to us not having room in the salary cap, after parting ways with Adam Elliott, the Bulldogs have now scored $400,000 in their cap and have gone ahead and signed John Asiata for the 2022 season. On the Bulldogs still, Aaron Schopp has re-signed for the next 3 years. A very solid centre for us who's had a very good year for the Dogs. So what will happen there is he'll be there for the next 3 years. He'll still play a major role in our squad, even though he's still young, and look someone that we can bring up in our ranks and hopefully be a Bulldog for life. Moses Leota has extended his contract with the Panthers for an additional 2 years, so he's off contract at the end of 2024. Raymond Faitala-Mariner. Now, he hasn't played much football this year. He's now had to go ahead and have bone grafting surgery on his foot. There's a 20% chance that it could be potentially career-ending, which is very sad for Raymond Faitala-Mariner. We know what kind of player he can be on his day. So they're hopefully get him to walk in the next 3 or so months and hopefully have him running by 6 months' time. So hopefully by March he can start running again, and then hopefully find his way to getting some game time and then making his way into the top squad. Paul McGregor, the former Dragons coach, has become assistant coach of the Blues, replacing Craig Fitzgibbon, who's actually going to be coaching the Sharks. Broncos are set to add Ben Teo as their new assistant coach. They're looking to bring in more firepower into the coaching ranks to give Kevin Walters more experience and more help in the coaching department. And all the players there and everyone at the club respect Ben Teo, and they're looking at him to potentially come in and take out a coaching career and hopefully sit there as an assistant coach alongside Kevin Walters and John Cartwright. Michael Maguire is looking to get new coaches as well if he survives the gig. We find out by the end of the weekend, once the review's been completed, whether he's safe or he's not safe. We know that Cameron Serraldo, the Panthers assistant, has been heavily courted by the Tigers, but seeing that it's a big basket case at the moment, it doesn't want anything to do with the club. So, which could mean that Michael Maguire gets another 12 months to really show what he can do. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. If he gets more experience around Maguire, I reckon it'll be good. But he's only got a very short amount of time to prove that he's worthy to stay their coach before they might look at terminating his contract. Joel Lussick has signed a 3-year deal that's been confirmed, heading to St. Helens, where he'll complete the next 3 years of his playing career there. I thought he's been a pretty decent backup for Reid Marnie, but he's now landed himself a very rich deal there, so all the best to him over there. All right, guys. Now, the ins, outs, and whereabouts for the finals, for week 2 of the finals. Now, the Seagulls are coming up against the Roosters on Friday night. Now, Lachlan Croker is back on deck after that little spasm injury he had last week. So he will move into the starting side. Carl Lawton will move to the bench, and Curtis Sivana drops out of the side altogether. And for the Roosters, Sam Verrills was unsuccessful in trying to downgrade a shoulder charge that he got done for on Saturday's game. So Ben Marshke will come in to replace Sam Verrills. Isaac Lee will start at prop and take the spot of Siosiawa Takiaho, who's out with a calf injury. And Fletcher Baker will join the bench. I've got to go Seagulls here. I think Seagulls will flick a switch, will find something, and will have a lot better game. But I don't think it'll be much in it. I think Seagulls will win it by about 12 points or so. The Panthers will come up against the Eels in the final game this week. Moses Leota and Dylan Edwards will return into the side. So Leota will start with Eisenhuth out of the side, while Edwards comes back at fullback, pushing Stephen Crichton to the wing and taking Charlie Staines out of that side altogether. And for the Eels, Ryan Madison is back after going through a few niggling injuries. He's back in the side off the bench, replacing Makahesi Makatoa, who will drop to the reserves. And I think with Leota and Edwards coming back into that side, I think it just gives Panthers more power, more strike power in the forwards and a bit more class in the back. So I'm going to go Panthers there, also by about 12 points or so. Guys, thanks for joining me in another episode of League Chat with the Stat. I know it's a much shorter one this week, but as the weeks get shorter and as there's games, unfortunately the episodes do get shorter as well. But I do appreciate you joining me on another week. You can catch us on all our podcasting streams. You can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. So make sure you're subscribing to the page, liking and sharing as well to everyone we can, so we can start getting this page to get the best page out there and best podcast happening at the moment. But enjoy finals week 2. Enjoy the next few games coming up. It'll be interesting to see as Storm and Rabbitoh supporters who they'll be facing then the next week. So it'll be very interesting to see how that goes. But guys, enjoy the footy this weekend. Have a great weekend. Enjoy it. We'll be back same time next week to bring you all things finals week 2 and to deliver everything for finals week 3. Enjoy, guys. Take it easy.